What's up guys, Josh here from Testing 103 Reviews with a brand new lick of the day. Okay, so what we've got going on there is actually a riff from one of the Stone Giant's new tunes. It's actually played in drop C, but I've just pulled out my telly, which is in standard tuning, so we're just in drop D. And also so you have the fret markers as well, just to pinpoint where I'm actually playing as opposed to the mayonnaise. So it's quite a lengthy line. It's kind of mixing a combination of rhythm and lead playing, more kind of tech based, kind of periphery sort of djenty stuff. So we are starting off with a open D string, hammering onto the 12th fret octave, and then catching 14th fret of the D string. So we got, and then two chugs on the low D, catching the -7 of the key we're in, which is C, or the 10th fret of the D string. And then we've got this little arpeggio. Can't remember the exact name of it, but it sounds pretty cool. And I'm picking the open higher D string, hammering onto that with my first finger, hammering onto the 15th fret of the D, doing this little arpeggio. Next one is 12th fret G string, and then 10th fret B string, hammering onto 15th fret B string, pulling off, and then descending the way we came, ending up on the 15th fret of the D string. So we have okay, and then the next part we slide down to the 3rd fret of the low E string or D string, and then doing a bit of string skipping, playing the 2nd fret D, pulling off to open, and doing the same on the 5th fret of the D string, kind of doing this little pedaling thing. And then we slide into the 5th fret, catching the 5th fret octave on the D string, doing this little minor pull off thing, hammering onto the 7th fret D, 8th fret, and then pulling back off down to 5, and then catching 8th fret of the lower D string, 5th fret on the higher D string, and then pulling off. And then we take that same shape up to the 10th fret with our little finger on the low D, and 7th fret of the higher D with our first finger, and do this little minor Aeolian run. So we have back to open. So those frets on that last part were 7th fret of the higher D, hammering on and pulling off to 8th fret, down to 10th fret A, going back up to the high D, ending on that F note on the 8th fret of the A string, and then answering that with a hit on the low E D string. So we've got as for the speed of this track, it's currently being played at 105 BPM. Now when you're playing that arpeggio section at the beginning of it, it feels a little bit odd because it doesn't exactly land straight on the beat, and then when you go down to the pull-offs, you're actually on the offbeat. And as for picking, downstroke, hammer, upstroke, down, hammer, hammer, down, down, hammer, hammer on from nowhere there as well. And then down on the lower D string and upstrokes on the higher. And exactly the same for the rest of it. And that's a bit of alternate picking there. Down, hammer, up, down. Down, hammer, pull off, down, up, down, down, down again. was probably a little bit faster than it needed to be, but you get the idea. And as for coming up with those sort of riffs, quite a lot of the time when I get a creative block or something like that, I listen to a band that I like or something new and listen to what they do, and then take aspects of what they use in their songs and kind of magpie it, taking all the shiny things that I like the sound of and then try and apply it to my own sort of thing. So that's kind of my writing process, and everyone's different, it's a very subjective thing. But hopefully you've got some use out of this, and if you would like to hear more riffs from Stone Giants, leave a message in the comment box below and I'll break down some more riffs and licks and stuff like that. Cheers!